going on? Welcome to the Fans of Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Paulie Price. Today we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite. Alright, we're going to start off with the first match of the night, and that was the 30-minute Iron Man match with Pac versus Kenny Omega. This match was ridiculous. Best way to start the show, by the way. I mean, 30 minutes of non-stop wrestling, just genius right there. Great match. The storytelling in this was ridiculous. The history with Pac and Omega is phenomenal. So this match was just that. Now, let's break it down. So Pac actually took a steel chair and hit Kenny Omega, got disqualified. So Kenny Omega got the first point, but it wasn't long after where Pac delivered the Black Arrow to tie it up. Now, pretty much the rest of the match was just back and forth. And again, another great storytelling match. Went down to the wire where Pac was actually in control of the match. He was trying to submit Omega, and he wasn't able to do it. The clock ran out, the bell rang. Paul Turner was like, "Oh, all right, what's going on?" And Pac immediately went after him, and he attacked him, knocked him out. And then Justin Roberts announces that this match is going to continue. Ring the bell, and it's sudden death. You know what that means. The next pinfall wins. We saw Aubrey come in, and the whole crowd went nuts when she came in to take over. And Pac was able to hit his one-winged angel and get the win. I mean, just a phenomenal match. 30 minutes of non-stop wrestling. I got to give it up to those guys. It was great. For me, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. It was just, I don't have to say anything else. All right, we're going to move over to the second match of the night, and that was a 6-man tag match with the Inner Circle versus Jurassic Express. Now, this was a pretty good match. I mean, the story behind Jurassic Express and the Inner Circle right now, it's getting good. And, we saw a lot going on. A couple of moments where, it was a little slow for me. But other than that, we got to see Darby Allin come out when Sammy Guevara tried to cheat with the balls in the sock and tried to use them on Jungle Boy. He comes out, grabs it from him, and when he turns around, Jungle Boy was able to hit the Hurricanrana and get the pin and get the win for Jurassic Express. So that was cool. I thought that was really cool how he came out and actually assisted with that. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was a pretty entertaining match, and with that pop from Darby Allin, I think it was definitely worth it. All right, we're going to move over to the third match of the night, and that was the Blade and the Butcher versus the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. All right, for me, I'm not a big fan of the Blade and the Butcher. They're still growing on me. I definitely like the Bunny in the way that she kind of, does the distraction stuff, so I just think it needs more time for those guys. But for me, it was an okay match. I'm definitely liking the Best Friends more. But for me, my favorite part of the match was when Orange Cassidy got in the ring and he got in the face of the Bunny. Because last week, the Bunny low-blowed him. And now he just, came face-to-face with her, tried to put his hands in the pockets. She stopped him, takes his glasses. Now the whole crowd boos her. He takes her bunny ears, and the whole crowd went nuts. And I was laughing. It was hilarious. I think that Orange Cassidy, the fact that he barely wrestles, is great. That he's such a great character already, and I can't wait to see him fight Pac, which is what we found out after this match, where the Best Friends got the win against the Blade and the Butcher. Actually, right after that moment, Orange Cassidy did a suicide dive and took out the Butcher, and Trent, I believe, was able to get the pin on the Blade and the win for the Best Friends. So that was pretty cool. And we saw after the Pac match, Orange Cassidy came out and got in the face of Pac, and Pac actually gave him a right hand. So after this Best Friends match, it was announced that Orange Cassidy will be facing the Bastard Pac at Revolution. So Orange Cassidy in his first match, he said he's going to try. Well, he didn't say. The Best Friends said that he'll try. So we'll see what happens. But for me, I'm going to give this match a 3 out of 5. I thought it was an okay match. For me, my favorite part was the Orange Cassidy. So the fact that was my favorite part of the match says a lot right there. But definitely great job for the Best Friends getting the win and the momentum that they got going on. So, all right, now we're going to finish it off with the last match of the night, and that was the women's division, and it was a fatal 4-way. And it was Cheetah, Shana, Swoll, and Sukazaki. Say that 3 times fast. And it was Cheetah, Shana, Swoll, and Sukazaki. And it was Cheetah, Shana, Swoll, and Sukazaki. And it was Cheetah, Shana, Swoll, and Sukazaki. For me, this was an okay match. They definitely did a good job putting on a good performance. There was a couple of moments in the match where it kind of got slow, and it kind of looked like there was a few times where someone was waiting for a move. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Yuko on the outside, just like all that little stuff she was doing. It was kind of weird. Kind of took away from the match because it's like, with a fatal 4-way match, there's no disqualifications. There's so much stuff that can go on, and we didn't see that. And we saw just like kind of gimmicks more than anything. And but other than that, it was a pretty good match. We got to see Cheetah get the win after a bunch of near falls with everybody. She's able to get the knee on Big Swoll and gets the win. So for me, I'm gonna give that match a 3 out of 5. Especially that it was the main event. I know the weigh-in comes after, but it was the last match of the night. And considering that it wasn't that great, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. All right, now we're gonna move over to the end of the show, the last segment, and that was Le Champion, Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley, the weigh-in for the AEW World Heavyweight title at Revolution. I love this. I love this whole weigh-in thing. It's new and fresh to wrestling. I get it. It's definitely something new to do, so do it. And I think it went over well. I liked how Jon Moxley was like good to go. He was ready to go. He wore shorts just so that everything was light. Took his boots off. Took his shirt off, I love those go-go girls that they had there. That was definitely like that UFC feel right there. Now, Jericho, on the other hand, did not do that. He actually took his sweet-ass time. To the point where he handed his title over, and then he took off his jacket, and then he insulted the crowd a few times. They started chanting because they were in Kansas City, so they started chanting the Kansas City Chiefs chant. And Chris Jericho got on the mic and said that Patrick Mahomes is a piece of shit. So, I mean, that was pretty straightforward right there, but it was also hilarious. So, moving on. So, again, Jericho took his sweet-ass time. Finally, he gets on the scale, and then he gets right back off. And as this was going on, Moxley was on the side. He's kind of like, bouncing around. He's antsy, He's the kind of guy that's, let's go. So when he got off the scale, Moxley wasn't happy. Jericho got in his face, and all I can say is that Moxley gave him a nice headbutt and split open Le Champion. Knocked him on his ass. I mean, he was out for quite some time. Split him right between the eyes, man. Right above the bridge of the nose. Of course, as soon as that happened, the Inner Circle, being they were in the ring, wearing all their matching jumpsuits, with the Painmaker posse, which I thought was pretty cool. Jericho's got so many gimmicks, it's great. The Inner Circle gets on Jon Moxley. We see Dustin Rhodes come out and attack Jake Hager. He's got a match coming up with him, so they're trying to sell that. We saw Darby Allin come out again against Sammy Guevara. He actually gave him a knee, but this time, when he came in, he had the skateboard. Sammy grabbed the skateboard and was able to break it over Darby's head. And that just changed the tables for the other people, and it was just Inner Circle. Chris Jericho took over, gave the paradigm shift on top of the scale, and that's how they ended the show. That's your take-home ending to Revolution. So I thought that was really great. For me, I'm going to give the whole segment a 5 out of 5. It was great. The patience of Jericho, him taking his time, insulting the crowd, insulting Mahomes, getting that crowd to hate him so much that when Moxley fights him this Saturday, it's going to be electric. All right, now we're going to break down the whole show based on referee rating, the match card rating, the production value, and of course, the overall show rating. We're going to start off with the ref rating, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Everybody did an outstanding job. Paul Turner doing that first match, the Iron Man match, for 30 minutes, man, and then getting knocked out by the Bastard Pack. And then Aubrey coming in and getting a pop for, Bruce and just the whole staff. Knox, great job. 5 out of 5. I can't say anything else. For the match card rating, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I definitely would have moved that women's match back and maybe had either the Best Friends match or maybe even the Jurassic Express there. But I think I definitely would have did the Best Friends because you had the Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. Would have been too close to that ending. It's the only thing I would really change. But listen, 4 out of 5 is still good. For the production value, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5, man. I love the commentary team. Taz there for the full show was awesome. the interviews from Tony are great, man. He also got to speak to the Young Bucks and the tag champions, Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, which was a really intense interview where they talked about their upcoming match this Saturday, to the point where, again, we saw Hangman Adam Page with a drink in his hand. It got heated to the point where the Young Bucks said to Hangman Adam Page that he was nothing but a jobber at ROH, Ring of Honor, and that they made him and brought him into the Elite. I mean, that's pretty straightforward right there, and if that's talking smack to the max right there, then that's it. So great job on the storytelling for this upcoming show. So 5 out of 5. For the overall show value, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It wasn't an amazing show like last week, but I definitely thought it was a great show. Like a part 2, because we didn't see Cody. We saw our retribution for Cody last week. So this is kind of like the part 2 of the stories, especially it being the title one. Definitely a great show. Great job. 4 out of 5. And I can't wait to see the show this Saturday. All right, we're going to come over here. We're going to check out my poll on Twitter. If you're not following me, please do. It's at Fans of Wrestling, and that's 2 I's in wrestling. You can see over here, the I is a capital I. Couldn't get the other one, so you got to deal with this one, folks. And if you want to follow my personal, that'll be at Paulie Price. And that's at Paulie Price. Again, I like to repeat myself. Okay, so I put up a poll. Not too many people hit me up. Usually AEW polls that I put up usually get over 20 votes, but actually I'm going to retweet this. Sometimes I do that because people didn't see it and they're seeing it again. So we'll see. There's 13 hours left. If you want to vote. But yes, so what did you think of AEW Dynamite, I asked, and 83% said fantastic, 16% said okay, and nobody said they weren't a fan of it. So that's cool. Definitely kudos to the show. I definitely think it was a fantastic show. I wouldn't say it was a phenomenal show like last week, but it was definitely a good take-home show for Revolution. And we're going to take a look over here of the match card. So we got Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley, which we already talked about. We got MJF versus Cody. For the first time, we're finally getting retribution. So I'm excited about that. We're going to get Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page put their titles on the line against Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. Another match I cannot wait for. Then we're going to see Jake Hager for the first time, another first one, versus Dustin Rhodes. Then we're going to have Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. So, I mean, like right now, this card is ridiculous. I mean, this is another thing I like about AEW is that they're not doing pay-per-views every month. They're doing it every 3 months. Build up these stories, man. You can't tell a story in a month. It's not enough time. And then when you tell these stories, when you do it over a course and you have a pay-per-view over 3 months, man, when you have those matches, they mean so much. So, I mean, you can see this card is full. And especially like the Nyla Rose match with Chris Statlander. We've seen Statlander become the number 1 contender. Then she loses against Riho. Then Riho loses to Nia Rose. And now she's getting another shot. So, I mean, this is another match I'm looking forward to. And then we get this match thrown in from last night's show, and that's Pac versus Orange Cassidy. I'm really excited about this match now because to see Orange Cassidy maybe try, I'm excited. The last match they have here is SCU versus the Dark Order. Now, we've seen a lot going on with the Dark Order. They did do a promo during this show where they keep talking about Christopher Daniels. So what's going to happen with the Dark Order? Are they going to be able to recruit someone? So this is another cool story that we've been waiting since the beginning of AEW Dynamite. So, again, this is another great pay-per-view. I think this is probably the best card they had with all the storylines that they've been doing. So, I mean, I cannot wait for the show, and I hope you guys are excited too. If there's anybody out there that don't like my ratings or my review from this show, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a fan.